Lesson 133. I will not value the valueless. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles. I am Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. I'm glad you're here and I'm glad we are doing another lesson together. How it's going to work is I'm going to read this lesson together. We're going to contemplate it together. And once we are finished, I will recommend a Qigong class for you, which is suitable to this particular lesson. I have recorded many different Qigong classes frequently, and I have made them in such a way that you can actually apply the lesson to the class and also receive the message from your higher self. Before we start, please do me the favor and subscribe to my channel so more Course in Miracles students can find me. So our community of Qigong and ACIM students can grow. And also let me know at the end what your thoughts are, what your conclusions are, how this is for you, both reading the lesson together with me and also doing the Qigong class together with me. Let's begin. You can get yourself a cup of tea like me, and we can just relax and enjoy what comes to our minds while we're reading this together. So I think which is also has changed if you've been watching some of the lessons, but not the recent ones. I have, in the beginning, I used to edit. I would read the lesson, contemplate, and I would edit and censor things out where I thought, I couldn't say that. But the situation is that I just simply don't have enough time to edit things out, and I still want to record. And also at this height of the course, at this level of the course, we are urged to trust in what the messages we are receiving. So I'm choosing to trust that what is coming through is what needs to come through for both you and me to hear it. Sometimes I am surprised about the things which I do say. So if there is things which you don't agree, I am sorry, but this is what needed to be said at this particular moment, and I'm not editing out. I don't have time. Okay, lesson 133. I will not value what is valueless. Sometimes in teaching there is benefit, particularly after you have gone through what seems theoretical and quite remote from what the student has already learned, to bring him back to practical concerns. This we will do today. We will not speak of lofty world-encompassing ideas like we did yesterday, but dwell instead on benefits to you, on benefits to us. That's what we're doing. We're actually teaching all the time, you and me. You do not ask too much of life, but far too little. And this is something which you really need to contemplate. We are not asking too much, but we are asking too little, because we have been trained that way. Who do you think you are? When you let your mind be drawn to bodily concerns, to things you buy, to eminence as valued by the world, you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. This course does not attempt to take from you the little that you have. It does not try to substitute utopian ideas for satisfactions which the world contains. There are no satisfactions in the world. Today we list the real criteria by which to test all things you think you want. Unless they meet these sound requirements, they are not worth desiring at all, for they can but replace what offers more. If you have been doing the course for a while, like me, then you for sure have realized that things have shifted in your life, that certain things you just don't do anymore. So, for example, I'm very bad at shopping. I find it a necessity. I don't go shopping for the joy of shopping or because I need things. I just go and do it because I need maybe some new underwear or something. But it does not give me the satisfaction it may be used to. And also prestigious things which maybe used to give me satisfaction when I was younger, they don't do it for me. It means nothing to me. And also it means nothing when I see somebody who is trying to show off with things, whatever, with cars or with jewelry or with lots of makeup, or men showing off with their trophy women or vice versa. It means not a lot. In fact, I find of kind of like, think about, you're missing the point here. And that is what happens to us once we kind of learn with the course. But there's quite a few things which I still haven't learned. There are no satisfactions in the world. Today we list the real criteria by which to test all things you think you want. Unless they meet these sound requirements, they are not worth desiring at all, for they can be but replace what offers more. The laws which govern choice you cannot make, no more than you can make alternatives from which to choose. The laws which govern choice you cannot make. The choosing you can do, indeed you must, but it is wise to learn the laws you set in motion when you choose and what alternatives you choose between. We have already stressed there are but two. We have already stressed there are but two, however many there may appear to be. There's just two choices. It's either valuable or valueless. The range is set, and this we cannot change. It would be most ungenerous to you to let alternatives be limitless and thus delay your final choice until you had considered all of them in time and not been brought so clearly to the place where there is but one choice that must be made. Another kindly and related law is that there is no compromise in what your choice must bring. It cannot give you just a little, for there is no in-between. Each choice you make brings everything to you or nothing. Therefore, if you learn to test by which you can distinguish everything from nothing, you will make the better choice. First, this is the first one, number 1. If you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. Now, there's a big one. What can you possibly choose that is forever? The things that we can choose forever are all abstract, as we talked yesterday. There is nothing physical, there is nothing tangible in this world, nothing which we can perceive with our senses, which are forever. Nothing. So whatever is forever is abstract. So that is what we have to judge by, that which is forever. So first, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. A temporary value is without all value. Time can never take away a value that is real. What fades and dies was never there and makes no offering to him who chooses it. He is deceived by nothing in a form he thinks he likes. So there is nothing in this world which is actually valuable. If you just look at the physical appearance, if you will. Then goes the next one. Number 2. If you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is because when you deny his right to everything, you have denied your own. You therefore will not recognize the things you really have, denying they are there. Who seeks to take away has been deceived by the illusion loss can offer gain. Yet loss must offer loss and nothing more. So if you're actually choosing to take something from somebody, so if they want to be with you, and you deny them that, Are you denying them something which they want? It's a good question, no? That is something which you have to ponder on. Obviously, stealing is logical. If I take something which belongs to somebody else, then that you're not supposed to do. But we're not talking about physical things. We are talking about different kind of concepts. So if you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is because when you deny his right to everything, you have denied your own. And this is where the key is. It is his right to everything. He has got the right to be happy. He's got the right to love. And you can't take that away from him. You have to give him this right. You have the right to peace. He has got the right to work. He has got the right to provide for his family. She has got the right. So you can't deny them that right. Your next consideration is the one on which the others rest. This is number 3. Why is the choice you make of value to you? This is the question you have to ask yourself. What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does it serve? Here is the easiest of all to be deceived, for what the ego wants, it fails to recognize. It does not even tell the truth as it perceives it, for it needs to keep the halo which it uses to protect its goals from tarnish and from rust, that you may see how innocent it is, the ego. How innocent the ego is. That is what's camouflaging it. Yet is its camouflage a thin veneer which could deceive but those who are content to be deceived. Its goals are obvious to anyone who cares to look for them. Here is deception doubled, for the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed to gain. He will believe that he has served the ego's hidden goal, and though he tries to keep its halo clear within his vision, yet must he perceive its tarnished edges and its rusted core. His ineffectual mistakes appear as sins to him because he looks upon the tarnished as his own. The rust a sign of deep unworthiness within himself. He who would still preserve the ego's goals and serve them as his own makes no mistakes according to the dictates of his guide. This guidance, the guidance of the ego, teaches it is error to believe that sins are but mistakes. So it teaches if somebody makes a mistake, that is a sin and that needs to be punished. And you know deep inside, if you're doing that this is not right. But you are serving the ego anyhow. For who would suffer for this sin if this were so? So, who do you serve? So this is a very important one, the third one. Your next consideration is the one on which the others rest. Why is this choice you make of value to you? What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does it serve? So, let's consider our endeavor here. Why am I recording those videos? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this to serve the ego, or am I doing this to serve the higher self? Of course, the reason I started doing that is because I felt I needed to give something back to the world. I needed to give something back, what I know. I needed to give a tool which would help others. But in the process, I do fall into ego. Suddenly, it matters to me how many people have seen the video, how many people have, how successful is it? So the ego takes over. So I have got this lofty goal, but then the ego takes over and suddenly I forget what the purpose is. Suddenly I listen to the ego instead of my guide, instead of my higher self. Or I have got a business, so I have to be paid for my services. So is it right to take money? Am I taking something away? But the thing is, business people, I'm working with business people, they like to pay for the service. So they want to feel that they are giving me a value for the value I'm bringing to them. It's an exchange. And by them paying me, I can dedicate my time and efforts to you, and I can also dedicate my time and efforts to my family, and making sure that they advance, and making sure that they maybe look at life a little bit different than just ego thoughts. So it's an exchange. It has to be a win-win situation. And that is what you have to ask yourself within. Is everybody winning with what I'm doing now? Is everybody gaining from it? Because if there's somebody who's not gaining from it, I have to stop doing it. And not their egos. No, it's not about their egos. I'm not going to feed their ego. I'm going to give the value so we all can see that there is a greater value in this endeavor, what we're doing. And we have an issue with that where we're saying, no, I can't take money. And then we think that we are somehow more holy. But you're not holy because you don't take money. It's because you need, and money is just a form of exchange of deeds. So we don't have to run around with eggs in exchange. I am going to give you 3 eggs if you give me 5 minutes of your time. Well, maybe I don't need your eggs. So money is actually just a tool which is making the exchange of worldly works and efforts, and makes it easier. But when the money becomes the God, then we have missed the point. Then the ego has taken over again. I hope this explains it a bit. Woo. Your next consideration is the one on which the others said, why is the choice you make of value to you? So these 3 questions you really have to kind of write down. It's actually 4 points in here. Those 4 points you have to kind of write down and say, so why am I taking this decision? Just to remind you, the first one is, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. This is the first thing. The second thing is, if you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is number 2. And number 3 is, why are you making this choice? What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does it serve? This is the third choice. And the fourth one comes down here. And so we come to the criterion for choice, which is the hardest to believe, because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. If you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goals to come between the real alternatives, and thus you do not realize there are but 2. And the alternative you think you choose seems fearful and too dangerous to be the nothingness it actually is. And this is what we just talked about with the money. If you feel guilty of taking money, it's not because you're not supposed to take the money. It's because the ego has come and playing a role again and said, well, you shouldn't be really taking any money if you want to be a saint. So the ego has taken over again. You see, when you're paying somebody, when you're paying for somebody's service, I love to pay. I have got a cleaning lady. I love to pay for that service. I love to pay it. I love her to walk away and feel good about that she has done a great deed. I love to pay when somebody does something for me, because I want to make them feel that they really have helped me, that their deed or whatever, or their service has really truly helped me. I want to pay for it. And I can't pay with my time, so I can pay with this thing which we have created, which is money. So I want to give this to you. So then you have got more time to do something else. You are paying me with your attention. I am grateful for your attention to me. I am grateful for your presence to me. I am learning together with you. So you are paying me with your time. How much is your time worth? You see? It's just an exchange. And when guilt comes in between, then the ego has found its way again to sneak itself in and say, well, you see, you have taken money, so you are not as holy as you think you are. You see? Do you see the connection? Let's read this again. And so we come to the criterion for choice, which is the hardest to believe because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. This belt of guilt, that belt of sadness, of anger, that belt of all the negative emotions. If you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goals to come between the real alternatives, and thus you do not realize there are but two alternatives. There are just two. It is either valuable or it's valueless for your true self. And the alternative you think you choose seems fearful and too dangerous to be the nothingness it actually is. All things are valuable or valueless, worthy or not being sought at all, entirely desirable or not worth the slightest effort to obtain. Choosing is easy just because of this. Complexity is nothing but a screen of smoke which hides the very simple fact that no decision can be difficult. What is the gain to you in learning this? It is far more than merely letting you make choices easily and without pain. Heaven itself is reached by empty hands and open minds, which come with nothing to find everything and claim it as their own. We will attempt to reach this day today with self-deception laid aside and with an honest willingness to value but the truly valuable and the real. Our 2 extended practice periods of 15 minutes will begin with this, and write that down. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. And we have got here 4 points which are helping you decide whether it's valueless or not. And let me repeat it again. First, you choose a thing that will not last forever. What you choose is valueless. So it has to be something which can last forever. This is the choice you have to go for. Second, let me just elaborate on that. So if you're now in the supermarket, say, for example, and you are buying something and you have got a choice between 2 things, which one is the more valuable? Well, these questions you can ask yourself. Maybe the most valuable is to follow the advice of the person you have asked, to make them feel good, to agree with them, to follow their lead, to make them feel that their opinion was valuable. Maybe that is the choice you need to make. See what I mean? It's what other person is involved there. What are you supporting which is truly lasting forever? What is the maybe of the company? What is the company's value? What is their motto? Does it serve the valuable or the valueless? You see? I mean, you don't have to make such difficult decisions on every kind of thing you do. But if you do want to make these kind of decisions, this is the contemplations you can take. The second one, if you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is because when you deny his right to everything, you have denied your own. You take that as a second one. You cannot take nothing away from somebody else. Whatever you are taking, it has to be doubling for both of you. It has to be a win-win-win situation. Third, your next consideration is the one which the others rest. Why is this choice you make of value to you? What is it to you? Why does it matter to you? How does it make you feel? And the fourth, if you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goals to come between the real alternatives, and thus you do not realize there are but two. When you start playing with guilt, you have missed the point, because then you have fallen into ego. Rethink it. Come out of the ego. Come out of the guilt. It is not useful. So, our 2 extended practice periods of 15 minutes will begin with this. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. And then receive what waits for everyone who reaches unencumbered to the gate of heaven, which swings open as he comes. Should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens, or believe you see some difficult decisions facing you, be quick to answer with this simple thought: I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. So again, should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens, or believe you see some difficult decisions facing you, be quick to answer with this simple thought: I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. And when I finally grasped this idea some years ago, I made the decision for myself. If it's not a win-win-win situation for everybody involved, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to let it rest. Or if I'm uncertain, I'm not going to take the decision that day. I'm just simply not going to take the decision. I'm going to go away and I'm going to sleep over on it. And if in the morning I wake up and know what the answer is, because I have reconnected to my higher self, then I will do this. Or I will walk away, and when the answer comes to me, maybe an hour later or 2 hours later, that's when I'm going to follow this kind of instinct, this kind of insight, this kind of revelation which comes by being connected with my source. That's why many of the decisions I'm taking, they are kind of spur of moments decisions, like recording this course. I have been contemplating it for like maybe half a year, and then I'm thinking, should I do it and should I not? And I was unsure about it. And then suddenly, in a course of a week or two, I had several people saying to me, yes, please do it. This is such a good idea. Do it. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to do it. And then I started recording it and stopped because I was unsure again. Maybe it was the ego who has taken over. And then again, I had several people coming to me telling me, you should do it. For me, like it was like a message, get on with it. So your messages to me are very, very important to me, because that makes me understand. I see your message as a message from my higher self to me, which I'm not listening to. Keep on doing it. And this is just one example, but there is many different examples. For example, if I want to buy a car, or I want to buy a house, or I want to go traveling, or I want to take on a new job. If I'm unsure about it, if I should be doing it, if there is any kind of guilt creeping in, or anything uncertain, if I'm not sure this is a win-win-win situation, then I just simply will not take the decision that day. I will walk away and take the decision tomorrow. And if anybody is pressuring you into taking a decision on that particular minute, you can still always walk away. But you are going to get better at it. The more you're doing these kind of decisions, the more you're listening to your higher self, the more you tune into your higher self, into the depth of your being. Before you're taking decision, the faster and better you get at taking those decisions and taking the right ones. And trusting, once you have taken the decision, trusting that this particular decision is going to be used in the right purpose. You kind of give it. Say, okay, I've taken this decision. Now you, my higher self, my Christ consciousness, my God, you use it in whichever way you feel that you can use this. There's the trust into that superior power which you belong to. Okay? So I'm going to suggest, it says 15 minutes here, but I'm going to suggest different classes for you which you can choose from. I have got one class which is a 15-minute meditation, but it's a 10-minute warm-up. So I will suggest this for you today. And then I'm going to give you another few options for you to consider it. What you want to want to do when you are doing these meditations, you want to clear your mind first. I mean, this is what Qigong is so good for. You first want to clear your mind, because you know what you want. We have now established what we want, but you want to clear your mind, and then you want to allow yourself to connect to your higher self, to receive the answers which are going to be useful and valuable to you, and which are going to be understandable to you in your own words. Okay? So for this purpose, I am suggesting this 15 minutes meditation, or you can have here a moving meditation, which is also quite powerful, or you just choose another one from the list up here. Enjoy and love to you.